Alright, what is up everybody, and welcome back to another video. And in today's video, as you might be able to tell by all this stuff I have scattered out, it's starting to get warm here in Southwest Virginia, which means it's basically starting to get fishing season for us. I haven't really went at all so far yet. There's a few times in the creek. So other than that, most of my rods or tackle hasn't really been sorted at all since last year. We need to go through, and I want to show you guys how I go to set everything up, what I put on, how I start out the year. Maybe give you some tips that might be helpful to you if you're trying to get out there on the water, if you're just starting out, or if you're just going back for the first time this year. So let's start off by putting on, what should we put on? I know just what to do. Oh, Jared. Alright, so before we really get into this video, just all the stuff I'm about to show, I'm going to try to get as many links as possible. They'll all be in the description, so please go check that out. They're also affiliate links, so anytime you click them and buy something, it supports the channel. So it'd really mean a lot to me if you guys checked any of this out, especially if you're already in the market or you're thinking about buying something for fishing season, new rod, new reel, lure. Go check everything out in the description, see if you can find anything. If not, that's fine too, but it does support the channel, so I really appreciate that. But nevertheless, let's get right into the video. How's it going, man?
What's up, man?
Oh, not much.
Good. I just hooked the boat up.
You just hooked the boat up. Wow.
Yeah, so.
Well, I was just sitting here, and I was going to make a video to kind of, you know, help people. Maybe if they wanted to start fishing or if they were rigging up for the first time. And I was like, because all my tackle's a mess. And I said, I know exactly what to do. So, Jared, since you're an expert in fishing, what we tying on? What we got going on?
So we're preparing for, or Hunter's rigging up to fish a lake tomorrow for the first time. The water's still going to be pretty cold, probably in like the upper 50s, mid 50s. So those fish should be in like a pre-spawn mood. And this is like a clear reservoir mountain lake type of fishery. It hasn't been fished in a while. So I'm thinking natural colors, some slow moving baits. I haven't really had a lot of luck off of like reaction baits there. Like not too much luck on spinner baits and crankbaits and things like that. But I'm thinking, you know, jigs, Texas rig, shaky head, wacky rig, finesse baits, things like that, and then just some natural colors, and we should catch some fish. Right now, for example, I tied on a jig, a green pumpkin, a shaky head, green pumpkin, a wacky rig Cinco, green pumpkin. I mean, you get the point. I tied on a jerkbait just because I love jerkbaits. I probably won't have that much confidence in it, but I'll probably end up throwing it like nearly the whole day just because I love fishing a jerkbait. And then lastly, I tied on just a Texas rig flipping bait. But flipping baits usually don't work as good in the pre-spawn. Usually the jig bite's a little bit better. And we're going to be fishing around a lot of laydowns. So the jig and the shaky head and wacky rig, they should all work great. Well, shout out to Jared. Now I'm going to take your advice and start tying and organizing some of this stuff up. Natural colors, man. Natural colors. Yeah. All right. Natural colors. Everybody go sub to Jared for more fishing content. Appreciate it. So I hope that helped you guys. I hope that helped Hunter. As always, go take someone fishing. We didn't really have any luck at all. I did get all my rods rigged up. So I took some of Jared's advice and I got everything rigged up. And I'm going to be showing you guys what I had on and tell you what I think is the best way to maybe start your fishing season. So the first thing I want to show you guys, this right here. This is Abu Garcia Veritas rod. And I've got my loose speed spool LFS on here. And right now I have a chatterbait on here. But I didn't really start with that. So, like I said, we didn't have hardly any luck at all. So we just kind of trying all sorts of stuff. 7-foot medium heavy rod with a 6/8 reel on it. So what I like to do on this one is I have fluorocarbon on here. It's about 15 pounds.
And I started out with the jig on this, and that's probably what I'll keep on this most of fishing season. I keep like a jig or anything kind of slow moving like that you can fish on a bait caster, and that's one of my go-tos. That's one of the most fish producing things, especially around where I am, because we fish a lot of clear water around here unless we're fishing the river. So that those like finesse jigs or anything natural colors works really good. But also, if I need to, I'll throw like a chatterbait or a spinner or something on here, because I don't have a million different rods, and I know most of you, if you're watching this video, you probably don't have a million either, or you already know what you want to put on them. So that's usually what I run on this rod. So I had that rigged up with a jig to start off. And then next I just had a little spinning rod right here. Like I said, we were really going finesse, but on this I'll usually put either a Ned rig or a fluke or something like that. I mean, it's just normal. I think this is an 8-pound test. This is just some $50, $60 spinning rod you can buy. It's just a combo. It's a Browning. I'll run that on here, and then I'll usually put a little Ned rig or something. Slow and finesse on here. Maybe I'll throw a drop shot on, shaky head, just whatever's working. But that's usually what I put on another rod. But Ned rig produces a lot of bites, and the drop shot and shaky head really work for me, especially around Southwest Virginia. I know this area, and that's usually what works pretty good. So that's what I do for my second rod. And then I'll do, so this rod I didn't really use because I didn't really get around to it, and I don't really have on here what I tie on. But for those of you who might just be getting started, this is like a $60 combo. It's not bad. It casts pretty good. And usually what I'll put on here is I'll put a like crankbait or jerkbait or something, and I'll fish it, because this is a little slower reel. I believe, yeah, this is a 6.2-to-1 on like a 6.6 rod. I just kind of throw like a jerkbait or a crankbait or something on here. Usually that's what I would do. I have another bait caster, and this is a 7-foot medium rod, and I've got a Johnny Morris on here. This is an 8:3-to-1 ratio reel, so that means it reels pretty fast. And right now I think it's 25-pound braid on here. This is my top water rod. I always have this. I always recommend you guys, if you have enough rods, always switch it up. So like I have this one, I always throw top water on this. On my other bait caster, I always throw either a jerkbait or a crankbait, something to that sort. And then on my other one, I'll try to throw something more finesse, like a jig. And then on my 2 spinner rods, as I just showed you, I have the Ned rig on that one, but sometimes I'll tie some other stuff on it. But the very, very, very most important thing is I have one more rod. I don't have it on me because I always carry this rod with me no matter what. And you see me talking about other videos about these bad boys right here. Senko's all-time favorite lure for me. They produce so many bites, and you can kind of use them in whatever situation you want. For the most part, I mean, obviously there's some places where you're more than likely not going to get hit on a Senko, but most of the time Senkos work. They always do for me. So I keep one more rod additionally to this that always has a Senko on it, either Wacky or Texas Rig It. It's my all-time favorite lure. I keep it in my car, truck, wherever I'm going. It is with me in case I just want to stop, throw in a creek, river, whatever it is. I recommend you always have that. That's just me personally. The Senko is my favorite. But to sum it all up, I usually run 5 rods because I'm not really a beginner, but I also don't have just tons of money to dump into fishing right now at the moment. And I know a lot of you watching this probably don't either. So I recommend, I run 3 bait casters usually, and then I'll have a top water, a more finesse one, and then one for like crankbaits, jerkbaits, stuff like that. And then I'll run 2 spinning rods, as you saw, one for like a Ned rig, fluke, anything kind of shaky head, sort of finesse with that. And then a Senko rod. I always have that. It never gets changed. I always have a Senko rod ready to go at all times. But other than that's pretty much going to do it for this video, guys. So you've seen kind of how I set up for fishing season. You've seen Jared's advice. But I also like to say, as much of this stuff as I can find or try to get will be in my description below. There'll be Amazon links, affiliate links, so anytime you click one and buy something, it really supports the channel. So if you're looking at any of this stuff or something you may want, I recommend click down in the description, try this stuff out. But I think that'll do it for this video. And as always, if nobody told you today, I love you, stay blessed. We will catch you guys next time. Peace.